So, massive news in the crypto market this weekend. We want to go ahead and talk about the impact that it's going to have on Bitcoin and crypto. And it's been a while. If you don't know who I am, I've been in the crypto market for about a decade, have made some videos, stopped for a while, took a break. Now I'm back. And so, a lot of good things ahead for the channel. Make sure that you subscribe below right now and put those notifications on because we want to go ahead and get you some news every week as far as this really important time when it comes to Bitcoin and the crypto market. And so, nothing is financial advice. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And what you see on your screen right now is the big news from the president. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after a year of corrupt attacks by the other presidential administration. And so a big executive order on digital assets, basically a crypto strategic reserve that includes not only Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also XRP, Solana, and Cardano. And so as the president goes ahead and says, hey, I want to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. We're making America great again. And as you know, this sent shockwaves. If you live under a rock, you may not know, but this sent shockwaves across the industry. And we saw Bitcoin pump from the lows of 78K during this announcement. Bitcoin was priced around $85,000 on Sunday, pumped up to 95K. And since then, we've actually pulled back around 5%, close to 89 to 90K. And so my big thing to talk about is the importance of this and how this really impacts you and whether or not this is basically just a fake out pump, right? So a lot of people are concerned right now because we'll get into the good points here in a minute, but we've seen this plenty of times where we get news, whether from the president or from the government or something that just pumps the price of Bitcoin, specifically on a weekend, right? It pumps, and then later on, common sense, starts to kind of come in and say, okay, maybe this isn't as big deal as we thought, or maybe we have to pump the brakes a little bit because, as we know, a U.S. reserve for Bitcoin and crypto is massive, right? The biggest point about that is that it legitimizes crypto. And that's what we've always really wanted for anybody who invests or trades in crypto assets is we want it legitimized. We want the banks, we want other people to take it seriously because I have plenty of stories to tell you where I've tried to get even loans in the past, just like construction loans, just stuff where I even had the money to actually back it up in USD, but they still wouldn't give it to me because they said, hey, a lot of your income in the past has come from Bitcoin. And we don't look at that. We don't legitimize that, right? That's not real income because Bitcoin, we can't use that. So banks have actually turned me down because I have actually had an income or invested in capital gains from Bitcoin or crypto assets. And so now, since the ETFs have come into play, since a potential Bitcoin and crypto reserve, we can actually say banks and other companies and funds can actually say, look, hey, this is legitimized. There's actually a crypto reserve in the U.S. where we think these assets are going to continue to go up over time. So, the big deal about this in general, for me personally, is I think that yes, it legitimizes Bitcoin, it legitimizes crypto, and it's one of those things where you also have to pump the brakes though, right? Because you do know that in order for this to happen, it has to go through the government, it has to go through Congress, there has to be laws. We have to figure out how to custody BTC, Bitcoin, and crypto. You have to vote on all these things. And so it could take months to even longer to where this could even fizzle out, right? This conversation. And so until it's voted in, until this is actually passed, it's basically, I don't want to say fluff, but it really is speculation. And so whenever speculation comes into play, we could even see the point to where it's a sell the news event when if it's talked about and price goes up so much that people buy over the next year because of this. We could actually see when it comes into place that it actually sells off. But For me as well, what I want people to know is that as we look at the US, the debt of the US, I mean, we're looking at what, $40 trillion. And so for even Bitcoin, the asset that it is to even 5 to 10x from here are a lot of these cryptos, it still would not put us in any way out of debt for the US government. So we do know that having this reserve, while it's nice, while it's a way maybe to hedge to the dollar or to the economy, and I don't really know. I would love to hear more on the president and the government on why they want to do this. Just seeing it as another vehicle, right? Another asset class, but in the end, I do not think that as far as the debt problem goes, this Bitcoin or even the crypto reserve is going to help really in that sense as far as get us out of that. But we do know that Bitcoin in general, if you do look at the charts, is a long-term store of value. So if they look at it like that, is that's the reason why they want to have this, then I can totally see why, and it totally makes sense as well. But you do have to laugh because going back to that on that tweet from the president is that he adds not only XRP and Solana, but Cardano out of all things. And I don't know, I just kind of laughed at that. And I think a lot of people here maybe watching who are fans of Cardano, and that's totally fine. But in the end, it's been around for a long time, and so far it's been a bit of vaporware. But hey, speculation, a lot of crypto is in general. But Cardano, not to get into this, but it probably had the biggest impact because this was just shocking to everybody. If you were in Cardano at 60 cents, I mean, you basically doubled your investment or trade right there. It pumped 2x on the news. It's since pulled back to around 90 cents. But it's really amazing because a lot of people were shocked by that, and price action shows. So as far as Bitcoin in general, right? That pump was great. We hit 90K, but since then, we've pulled back to 89K. And I've said it in former videos, and I'll say it again. The correlation now, since we've have the ETFs and there's so many funds that are in crypto, is that Bitcoin is really highly correlated to TradeFi. It's highly correlated to stocks. And so you can have news like this, and unless, like I said a minute ago, unless it's actually in the law and it's signed off for, it can pump Bitcoin, it can pump crypto, but price is going to just come back to reality and pull back if stocks continue to pull back. And so we're actually waiting for mid-March here. We've been waiting for a while because February did not have a FOMC. And so we want to wait and listen to see what the Fed has to say about tightening or easing up when it comes to the economy. And so what they want to do with rates, et cetera. And we know that that has direct correlation with the impact of the stock market and of Bitcoin now. So yes, we do see Bitcoin at around 89, 90K. What do I think? Well, my opinion is that, until we get right back above the previous support area, it's kind of like we've just rejected off this key area, right? So if I were to go across here, this was an area that rejected, bounced, and acted as support multiple times until we finally broke down in late February from 96K. We broke down to 77, 78K. Now we came back up and we've rejected off there. Now we're moving sideways. And so are we going to have acceptance and rejection off this current support level, the previous support level, where it bounces down and we can just kind of continue to go sideways right here? And so, yeah, I think a lot of people are worried that if the stock market does continue to pull back, that Bitcoin will continue to do so as well. So my thought is that pump the brakes on the Bitcoin crypto reserve, regardless of what the president says. It's a great thought to come into play, right? It legitimizes crypto, as we said, but in the end, until it is actually voted into, it's not reality. So we can just speculate on that. But until FOMC comes into play, March 18th and 19th, I think we see a lot of chop from Bitcoin and crypto in general. And so if you're a believer in crypto and Bitcoin, And I think that it's going to be a lot higher over the next year. I don't think the local top is in at 107, 108K. I think we'll see higher over time, especially if the Fed starts to ease up on things and of course the stock market reacts positively. Excuse me, Bitcoin's going to react positively as well. And of course, post halving year, we know that Bitcoin tends to be more scarce because the block reward is less. But going into talking about the halving, going ahead and talking about where Bitcoin has been over the past year, if you look at the monthly returns on Bitcoin, if we go down here and look at CoinGlass, we're going to notice that we have not had a red February. 2025 was the first red February since 2020. And prior to that, we only had one other in 2014. And so, why that is somewhat shocking is because the halving is every 4 years 2012, 2016, 20, 2024, and always the year after that in January, February, March, right? In 2021, 14%, 36%, 30% for the first 3 months of the year following the halving. 2017, we basically had a flat January, 0.04%, but we had a 23% increase in price in that February, a red March, but then it was green for the entire summer. 2017, right? Fantastic as well. So, 2017, we had that. 2021, of course, we had a very green January, February, March following the halving of 2020. So my entire point is that it really is shocking that February was red for Bitcoin. But if we can see Bitcoin rally post FOMC, it's a mouthful, right? In mid-March, we could potentially see a really nice March, April, May going into the summer. So sell-in may go away, of course, with the stock market. And since it's correlated with Bitcoin so much, we could see potential for that as well. But really, all eyes are on mid-March. And so until then, we do expect some chop. But, as always with crypto, there are a lot of opportunities, not just with Bitcoin, but with other assets as well, too. Now, one specifically that I do want to talk about is the second largest asset in crypto is Ethereum. Now, it was the third largest for a very short amount of time because this weekend, XRP actually flipped the fully diluted value of Ethereum for a short amount of time. Now, right now, it's back to third, $274 billion for Ethereum fully diluted value. 259 for XRP, but it really is amazing because XRP was a part of that strategic crypto reserve. So there was a very large pump on that because much like Cardano or Solana, it was kind of shocking to people to see the president add in XRP. Okay, so just a heads up on that. That's why you have a sharp pump, but of course XRP has since pulled back, but there has been a good reaction. But going back to Ethereum, why I want to say this is that if you are in any way, and I've been a fan of Ethereum for a long time, exposed to Ethereum, are bullish on Ethereum for any way, especially compared to Bitcoin, I would ask you to rethink that for the fact of Ethereum has probably been the worst performing assets for any of the crypto majors over the past year or two, since 2021, right? Since we had the NFT boom, since we had the DeFi summer, 2020, 2021, in the last few years, Ethereum just has not been very strong. And so this is the Ethereum chart. And of course, Ethereum could not hit even all-time highs. Like Bitcoin hit well above the previous 69K, up to 108, 109K. Ethereum could not hardly break $4,000. And of course, the previous was 4,900, almost $5,000 all-time high. It's just been really weak, especially compared to Solana, compared to Bitcoin. If you want to look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, this is Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. It's so weak. If you have held Ethereum, okay, instead of Bitcoin since 2021, 2022, you've lost money compared to Bitcoin. And so right now, we continue to see more lows on the weekly chart for the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. And so this is just pure weakness. And so for me, if I do have any type of Ethereum in any wallet that I hold, I would be converting that personally me into Bitcoin or another asset, whether it's Solana or something else, just because the fact that Ethereum has been so weak over the past 3 years. Now, could this change? Eventually, will this bottom out? Will we have a bounce? It's hard to say. There's a lot of thought process in Ethereum. I won't really get into it, but all I have to say is historically, no, is this all of a sudden a bottom? I don't think that it is. Bitcoin has just shown much more strength than Ethereum. And anytime we have any type of news, um, any type of rally, and Ethereum just tends to follow Bitcoin, if anything, USD wise. But if you look at the compared value of Bitcoin to Ethereum, I mean, Bitcoin wins every time. So with that said, this is a chart to look at and just really ingrain in your head that if you're an Ethereum fan, nothing wrong with Ethereum, especially with the tech. And I think that it's here to stay. But for an investment vehicle, hands down, Bitcoin for me every time. So, and that's what this channel is about, right? That's what we want to talk about when it comes to investing. What are great choices as far as crypto goes, because we do know that crypto is here to stay, and Bitcoin is the king of crypto. Now, as far as all the other tokens and all the other coins, one thing to look at for Solana is that Solana on the daily chart, of course, this level of around 170 to 180 acted as support and has now flipped into a resistance, meaning that as price went up there, sellers have stepped in, sold off, and that's an area that's going to be tough to get through, I think. So if Solana can get above 183, 184 and sustain that, I think that we can see it slowly work back up to over $200. But until then, Solana's looking pretty weak right now during this chop. And again, it all comes down to FOMC. What's going to happen to crypto? What's going to happen to the economy after that, right? How's it going to react with the Fed? XRP, I already showed you this. Actually it's sideways. It doesn't look too bad. It pumped a lot from November. A lot of positivities with XRP, right? The SEC dropped some cases against them. And so there's some relatively positive news with XRP. XRP is here to stay, top 5, top 10. I hadn't been a fan for a long time, but it's something I'm willing to look at to diversify my crypto portfolio if it continues to show strength, right? So an important thing to do if you're trying to decide what crypto should I hold long term is to really compare the two side by side, kind of like how we did with ETH and BTC. You can do the same with ETH and Solana. You can do the same with XRP and BTC. You can do the same with any two crypto assets. Compare the strength of the two. And if one is just really stronger than the other, that might be a better one, an option for you to diversify your portfolio into. The only other thing that I wanted to show is that a lot of people are laughing that if Cardano is actually going to be a part of the strategic reserve, make sure to take a look at Doge, because it's very likely that we could see Doge also eventually be a part of that. We're just waiting for confirmation from president and government to actually include it. It has not been included yet, but we do know that Doge is a very popular asset outside of these other ones. And so I personally could see Doge being a part of that strategic reserve. People would laugh about it. The bonus is that it would, again, legitimize more memes. And so could we see that a Doge in a strategic reserve be kind of a start of another meme coin rally, right? Because meme coins have not been so hot over the past few weeks. But with that said, that's kind of the market rundown. What I want to go ahead and do is just kind of keep an eye on Bitcoin here. Again, we just want to make sure that this Bitcoin strategic reserve and crypto reserve isn't just fluff, right? We want to make sure that there's some more announcements from the government and president coming up as well this week. We want to see what he says with that. Are there things that are going to be said that actually pull Bitcoin back down to the lows? Because we've already seen a lot of the altcoins. Again, Ethereum has already moved back down. Let's see here. Let's go to the daily chart. Right, it's almost fully retraced that pump on the strategic reserve. So for me, that shows a sign of weakness. So any coin that has already pulled back and retraced that full pump is a sign of weakness, and I'm gonna sit out of that at least for now until I see a change. I'd rather be late to buying into something than be too early and then it pull back more and lose money. So that's kind of my trading investing type of strategy when it comes to these things as far as these charts goes. But really exciting news overall. And so this week, what I want to go ahead and look into, because I'm going to make another video come this week. But what I want to do is take a look at like Sonic ecosystem that used to be Phantom. It's been pretty hot lately. There's a lot of other new things that are going to come out as far as other chains such as Monad. We can take a look at those as well. But really, what I want to do is focus in for people from all around the world, whether you're in North America, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Europe, wherever you are, India, and Spanish locations, I want to make sure to have content for all of you and make sure that we look at exciting new opportunities in crypto because, again, as an asset class, there's only so much that you can invest in, right? Real estate, stock market, crypto is another one of those things that is here to stay and has a lot of upside compared to most other assets. While it is volatile and it can pull back a lot, in the times where you need to be in the market, it also has some of the best upside. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and take a look at what's hot this week. So make sure to subscribe, put those notifications on, and we'll run down the market again here in the next couple of days with news and updates. If there's anything else out from the president, our government, are important, I will make sure to post and keep you updated. All right, guys, trade safe, and I'll see you soon.